Did you know talk therapy isn't the only option? Here's what else works.
Mended light.
But did you know that?
Yes, I did, but I don't know. It's what I do. So we're going to open the door to some of the most powerful modalities outside of talk therapy. This is a new series on Mended Light, so check out the playlist called Therapies You've Never Heard of but Might Change Your Life. Here we're going to explore somatic and body-oriented therapies, creative and expressive therapies, and ecotherapy or adventure therapies.
And so much more. Along the way, we'll weave in principles of learning and practice and neuroplasticity, because healing isn't about talking about change. It's about applying and embodying it until your brain, body, and life actually shift.
This video is about somatic and body-oriented therapies. Now, these are approaches that focus on the body as the primary gateway to healing. They recognize that trauma and stress are stored in the nervous system and muscles, not just in the mind. Through movement, breath, touch, and body awareness, like somatic experiencing, trauma release exercises, dance and movement therapy, this is going to help you to release tension, regulate your nervous system, and restore a felt sense of safety.
And Bessel van der Kolk did groundbreaking research on this over decades and wrote about it in his book, The Body Keeps the Score. Somatic approaches help us learn by doing, by reteaching the body what safety, fluidity, and release feel like. So here's the thing. Trauma is any experience where we didn't have the capacity to process in the moment what we were experiencing. So we stored it to process it later. And if later hasn't happened yet, we're still storing it.
Yeah. So here's a short explanation of a few therapies in this category. Somatic experiencing is a body-based therapy developed by Dr. Peter Levine that helps people gently release trauma by noticing and titrating bodily sensations in small, manageable doses. Titration means taking trauma in teaspoons, not buckets. So can you tell us a little more about that?
Yeah, so it's actually a reference to chemistry where they'll put a small dose of something and dilute it into something much larger,
Okay.
right? And so they're titrating, right? And so if you have a traumatic experience stuck in your body, particularly like complex PTSD, right? Where it happened over and over again and wasn't a single event,
Yeah.
like you have a lot stored in your body and it's going to be too much to process all at one time, right? And so when you titrate, you just take a little bit, just a little bit.
Please do that all the time. Why this is helpful, it retrains the nervous system to move out of fight, flight, freeze, and back into balance, building resilience without re-traumatization.
Yeah, because if you try to process too much trauma at a time, it can be re-traumatizing, right?
Yeah.
And the thing that the goal in your healing journey is for your heart, mind, body, soul, and your conscious mind to learn that challenging things can happen. They don't define you and they don't keep you stuck, right? But if you're trying to do too much at a time and you're re-traumatizing yourself, like that's literally teaching you the opposite of what you're trying to do.
Okay. So to clarify then, in trauma therapy, titration means approaching traumatic memories, sensations, or emotions in very small, manageable doses. Just a teeny bit, like you were saying, just enough to touch the experience without becoming overwhelmed or re-traumatized. It's a process that supports us in converting and conquering the illusions of our fears so that we can live our lives with strength and courage from a place of peace and confidence instead of fear.
Yeah. So another type of somatic release is trauma release exercise. And it's a set of exercises created by Dr. David Berceli to activate the body's natural tremoring response. So this releases deep muscular tension from stress or trauma. And the reason why this is helpful is tremors help discharge stored survival energy, reduce anxiety, and restore a felt sense of calm and safety in the body.
Now, one of Alicia's favorites, dance and movement therapy. It's a psychotherapy approach that uses movement, dance, and body awareness as primary tools for expression and healing.
You know, and what's funny about dance therapy is it comes up in both a subcategory of somatic experiencing and also a subcategory of creative experience. And it's true, it belongs in both categories. So we're going to talk about dance therapy more than once.
You called me, here I am. Super clip to the rescue. I've got a clip from the movie Silver Linings Playbook, in which Bradley Cooper and Jennifer Lawrence play new friends who are both grieving major losses. Her husband died, and his girlfriend cheated on him. And then they're both dealing with, as I recall, it's been a minute since I saw it, but for him it's clinical depression, and for her it's bipolar. And so
So their coping mechanisms throughout their life have manifested as those diagnoses.
Right. And he is very much in his head. He's super cognitive about how he's trying to work those problems. That's why it's called Silver Linings Playbook, because he keeps a journal where he's always looking for the positive. And that's gotten him to a certain point, but now he's stuck.
He's trying to logic his way out of his pain,
Right.
like a solid thinker does.
He's not comfortable with dancing. He's not comfortable with movement. But for her, that is the primary way of channeling and working through all of these things she's holding in her body.
Yeah.
So now she's going to try and teach him this. And here we go. Well, and have you seen this movie? Probably not.
I don't think I have. I've seen clips of it, but I don't think I've seen it.
So they have entered into a dance competition, and he is just way out of his element in his comfort zone.
Yeah. Well, and what's so interesting to me is there's learning, there's application, and then there's embodiment.
Right.
And that's true for everything in life. And those tools of self-expression help us with the application and the embodiment.
Yeah. And listen, like, I'm not saying it's the same thing, it's apples and oranges, but for some people it may not be dance. Like for me, when I do weight training or when I go running or when I go swimming, I can feel things moving through me, right? I can feel a release of things. So of course, they're taking a big swing and they're gonna learn from Gene Kelly.
Yeah. Well, and the powerful part is the self-expression.
Yeah.
And being comfortable in self-expression.
Well, and we see this, if you all have seen the film, or if you watch the film, we see this later. Once he learns the basics, and once he learns the steps, and once he learns the forms and all these things, he starts to join her in improvising and then putting his very specific stamp on it. So, is that always part of dance therapy? Maybe not. Maybe it's not always heat-centered, you know what I'm saying? All right, so we were talking a little bit about this, but tell us more about why this is so helpful.
Yeah. So I was talking about it earlier, but movement bypasses overthinking and allowing emotions and trauma stored in the body to be expressed, integrated, and transformed through movement and flow.
Right.
And so for those of us who are excellent overthinkers, we need all the help they can get, like Bradley Cooper and myself.
Next is sensory motor psychotherapy, which integrates somatic awareness with talk therapy, helping clients track body sensations while processing trauma and attachment wounds. Why this is helpful, it builds mindfulness of the body in real time, allowing safe release of trauma while fostering new patterns of regulation and connection. So tell us about the Hakomi method.
Yeah. So this is a mindfulness-centered somatic psychotherapy that uses gentle awareness and experiential techniques to uncover unconscious patterns. And it's helpful because it creates compassionate space where body sensations reveal hidden beliefs, leading to deep healing and self-acceptance.
Next is body-mind centering, or BMC. This is a movement-based approach exploring how different body systems, like your muscular, skeletal, and fluid systems, shape our experience of self. And why it helps? By bringing awareness to movement patterns, it cultivates the integration of body and mind, improving flexibility, grounding, and emotional balance.
Yeah. So these therapies share the principle that the body holds trauma, and healing requires not just talking about it, but practicing safety, movement, and release through the body. And this helps us create a neuroplastic shift, or literally to rewire our brain and our nervous system. And so each time you practice grounding, shaking, or moving with awareness, you create new neural pathways and safety instead of threat, fluidity instead of freeze. Over time, the body becomes a place where safety and resilience is taught and remembered, and that safety is something we can go back to anytime we experience a trigger or even a new trauma or a new challenge. So here's the thing. Everything we do is a practice. Each of these therapies helps us apply the principle: I am safe, I am loved, I belong as I am, and there is room for growth. And it helps us practice that shift in joyful, peaceful, calm, supporting ways. When we practice judgment, it reinforces fear and shame and anxiety pathways.
As we practice curiosity, compassion, and play, it strengthens neural networks of resilience, hope, and connection. Brene Brown's research echoes this. Courage and compassion aren't traits, they're practices. When we choose vulnerability and kindness in small moments, we are literally teaching our brains and bodies new default settings.
Well, and we're choosing that towards ourselves and for ourselves.
Mhm.
And the more we choose it towards ourselves and for ourselves, we can also show up in the rest of our relationships that way. So here's maybe a new groundbreaking idea. I want you to think of therapy as a playful practice. Every grounding breath is a shovel digging towards buried gold. Every dance or painting or forest walk creates a glimmer of joy and belonging on your journey. Every act of compassion is reclaiming a piece of you that was hidden, buried, or rejected in shame.
Your treasure is becoming who you really are. In that journey, you will discover the treasure in the brain you are rewiring, the body you are befriending, and the joyful life you are creating. You were made for joy. So here's a question for you. Which of these have you tried and how did it go? Or what have you found to be most supportive for you? And if you're still wondering what type of therapy is the best fit for you, wonder no more. We've got a free quiz that we've designed that you can take right now to help guide you in the next steps on your journey and point you in the right direction. That link is here on screen as well as in the description. Until next time, friends, keep shining.
We need your light.